Hey guys, Todd T here. It's been a few years since I've done a video. Finally got my tank back up and running. In this basement they had a flooding issue, so I had to put in a pump as well as put the tank on blocks to prevent any future disasters. That pump's there. I'm going to put some holes in the cover so that it actually allows water to run in there if it does give me a problem again. I actually painted the back of it. It's not going to come out that good, but that is about 4 coats on the back of Rust-Oleum black paint. I used Rust-Oleum. I just figured it'd be better, with water. It's actually in enamel. It's an oil base, and it has not been a problem yet. I mean, it's not. It had time to dry, like a month or two while I was doing work to the basement to, finish the waterproofing and everything, but. That got to dry good. It doesn't smell or anything anymore, and it looks much better. My previous videos, that's some reflection we're getting there, but previous videos you could see the background that I had on there. It looked kind of like almost like a bag hanging off the thing, and it wasn't. It was an actual background, but once some water from moisture gets behind it, it just peels away from the tank, and then looks kind of crappy after a while. So that's painted on, like I said, about 4 layers, and I figured because with the HOB filters it would be an issue with them scraping against it and everything like that. I didn't want paint chipping off and then seeing through the paint. This is my phone I'm using. It's not, oh there we go, it's a little better. They have the standoffs to touch the back of the tank. I didn't want it scraping the paint. So what I did this time, this is just soft water, probably 8 DKH. I'm not adding any lake salt or anything, and I have 3 parrotfish in there. One's a red parrot hiding in the log. She's a baby. She's small. She's a little shy still. And the other 2, that's a parrot, and the other one is hiding someplace else. Trust me, there's 3 of them in here. And I got 2 shark cats. These guys, I gotta see, they're about 5 inches in length now. I hear they can get to between 11 and 13 inches. All these fish are about a month old that I've had in the tank. And, because from what I hear with the parrots, you want, one needs 30 gallons and then 10 for each additional. So I figured 3 parrots, 55-gallon tank should be good. These shark cats, I really like these shark cats a lot. They are really nice. They seem to stay together and everything like that. Even if they do get bigger, I think they might be okay in this tank. I mean, the depth is actually over 12 inches in depth. It reads about 12 3/4 in depth. So they should actually be okay. I don't plan to stock anymore. I know these red parrots, I go to a lot of places that have them, and they get to be, really big. They get to be really big. About the size of a coffee mug if you want to compare. I mean, and kind of round too and everything, but they have great personalities. I know a lot of people don't like them in the hobby because they're a laboratory made kind of a fish, but I know a lot of people that have them, and that's what got me interested in it. I wanted something hardy that doesn't need constant attention and everything like that. I'd love to go salt water one day, but I don't have the funds or the patience for that. A lot of people are going with the nano tanks, which are actually pretty cool, and I might get one of those one day, because that's, the smaller the tank, the less expensive things are. You could buy a box of salt. You could buy a box of salt the size of that kitty litter box, and that'll last you forever with a 13-gallon nano tank. I have a friend who's actually setting one up right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes and how he enjoys it. So what I did with this tank is I have an LED strip that was in my older videos, and I had the Versatops, which I really didn't like because they were very flimsy, and I really didn't, and they also got dirty really easily. I didn't like it too much, so I actually got one of these. It was a little more expensive to get the whole, set up with the fluorescent bulb again, but I had no, the problem I had with the original one the tank came with is eventually these hinges break. And then when you go to open it up, you forget, and you open it up and the whole thing falls in the tank. So if that happens, I'll have to deal with it. But I also had the original hood for about 6-7 years before I had any problems with it, so I'm not too worried about it. Got 2 heaters. I believe that you know, even though it's a 55, I believe that you need more than one heater to keep the temperature evened out. And I got an Aquaclear 110 filter on it, and I have a BioWheel Penguin 350 with one pad in each side, and I'm going to keep that. I like these Penguins. They actually start up better if the power's off, but I really like this BioWheel because these you just keep in here. You never need to, you can actually see the speed it's rotating at. Sometimes they'll slow down more when they get more material on them from the water, from the biological. But I like them because you keep those BioWheels in there and you change the cartridges. Now when I change these cartridges, because I thought after, I've been in the hobby since I was probably like 14, and then on and off. I was under the impression until recently that the biological bacteria is in the water. It's actually not. It's in everything. It's in the tank. It's in all the objects. It's in the filter. The water actually doesn't contain the biological bacteria. So that's an important thing to know, because I'm actually going to put more stuff in this tank. This is not finished. I've had this set up. Like I said, I've been working on it for a couple of months, getting it cleaned up and painted and collecting equipment. And I've only had it up for about a month, but I'm fine. I don't want any more gravel than that, because these fish are ones that are going to move it around anyway. I don't want more gravel. They actually did quite a bit. Actually, it wasn't pushed. You could actually see through it back there. And so this is actually 4 bags of gravel. They're not huge, 8-pound a piece bags. This is 4 bags of gravel. 6 would fill it up really decently, but I don't want that depth of gravel. But I'm definitely going to get more decorations. I'm actually looking at getting another one of these logs. This was a bit pricey, and I want to kind of angle them, kind of like a meeting center, and then put more plants. I'm also actually looking into some live plants, but there's a lot of different information out there. From what I'm understanding, it's not a good idea with parrots. Mostly because they're not so much that they'll eat them, but they'll uproot them, and they'll be, you'll come down and look at the tank, it'll be a mess. They'll probably be all over the place. When I had the African cichlids in here, that was an issue. I actually started off with live sand, which was nice because, this is something that helps keep the tank, but the live sand had iron filings in it. And I'm hearing my filters squealing and everything like that, and someone else on YouTube suggested take the impeller and stick it into the sand, and if it sticks to it, then that's what it is. And I did that, and sure enough, the black parts stuck to it. It's kind of strange that that's in the sand, but it was, and it was bad. And I've actually observed the fish. If you look at them enough, I actually saw some of them actually spitting the sand right into the intakes. It's the funniest thing. I guess if you had enough time to sit in that tank swimming around, you probably would start doing things like that too. Even though they're fish, you only have so much room, so you start getting creative. But yeah, I want to get another one of those logs and angle it. This one I want to take it and turn at an angle a bit, and have another one on the other side like that, and just have a lot of plants. I think that'll be a nice look. It's a little bare looking right now, but I definitely want to add more to it. And other than that, it's doing great. These filters are working out good. This heater I've had for a while. That I bought as an emergency replacement for a heater. I had a deep blue that failed. It actually, the temperature, I saw the temperature going down in the tank, and I turned the heater up, and the light would just like come on and off, and the temperature was still dropping. So I bought that as an emergency replacement. That's a Merino one. I don't really like it too much. This one, it's glass too. I don't like it's quartz actually, but I like this one better. This one is, if it's not a Visoderm, it's an Aquarium. It's an Aquarium, and I like it because this is like plastic, a really strong plastic. The tubing on it, and if it should tip up, it's going to shut off. Because I actually came down the other day, and the suction cups were still on the back, but the heater was actually off the suction cups. And just the sheer weight, it's actually very heavy too for a heater. It's a very quality, you can tell it's made from quality. And I just pushed it back on the suction cups. But, with it hanging like that, if the fish were to bang into it, if they were bigger, which they're going to get, then the thing's going to wind up topside. And there's a danger in that. This basement's kind of cold. I was having a hard time getting the temperature up because I have it at about 80. I was told 80 degrees for these fish. and I have, let me see if I can get this thing to show up again here. Yeah, I've had this digital thermometer on here, which are the ones that stick on. Even when I was a kid, I liked those. They were actually, geez, back in the day that was considered like high tech. You can't see it on the video, but it's about lighting up 80. It's actually lighting up almost between 80 and 78, which means it's about 79. So it is a struggle with this basement to keep the water temperature, even with 2 heaters. So I actually had my hand on them inside the tank when they were on, and they get pretty hot. So if this thing should float topside and it's on, there's a risk of shattering the heater, and also I've heard of people shattering their tanks, which would be very bad. I have a sump pump that'll pump the water out, but your fish no longer have a home to be in, and that's, I don't believe in anything suffering like that either. This one doesn't have that feature, so that one should come off, and I have replaced, that is a replacement holder for that. It's actually one piece, the suction cup, and there's a piece here, you can see it behind it, they're connected together. That's how the ones you buy online come like that, as one piece. The original one just wouldn't hold up anymore. With the AquaClear, what I have with this is it has in it, I put all, it's a $90 filter. Sometimes some places have it even higher. I've never seen it less anywhere I've looked. What I have in here is all the stuff it came with. Alright, it came with, it comes with the charcoal and the Bio Rocks and the one sponge, which is in there and doing very well. I actually looked through it with you actually look through it with a flashlight. You can see if it's clean or if it's getting dirty. Also, if it gets really dirty, you will see these push up. I've heard people talk about that happening, and it actually happened to me 1 or 2 times. If you really, let the filter go, you're like, I don't feel like cleaning it today, it will actually push this strainer up, because the sponge, the way it's mounted on that, it actually has teeth above it that hold it in place, so that the sponge won't just push out of the frame. It'll push the frame up first, even though the frame's in detents as well. But in the future, what I plan to do, I'm going to let that charcoal run for a bit, just to make sure I got a good biological filtration going, because it attaches to everything, and then I'm going to eventually just put all Bio Rocks on the top. You want as much biological as you can, because when you do water changes and when you add anything, you're affecting that. You want to keep a good biological filter at all times. Ammonia is what kills fish. Nitrites kill fish. Nitrates are obviously less dangerous. But this is and this stand's original. I have the tank and stand itself I've had for almost 11 years now. And it's moved several times, and it's held up really good. I know they always say don't ever move a fish tank, but this tank's been moved about 5 times. And it's held up. It's held up good. I made sure I put a line on the side when I filled it up with a marker. And I filled it up to that point, and I let it sit for hours, and then checked it. I didn't see any difference. Checked for any moisture underneath. Didn't see anything. That's really all you can, that's the best test you can do. I mean, if that mark goes down, that's a severe leak. But I checked underneath with a flashlight and looked for any drips of any kind. Because, like I said, it had been moved several times. The other thing you could do is you could, for the heck of it, buy fish tank silicone. It's got to be fish tank grade, 100% silicone, and you could go around all the main areas with it again, but I didn't feel like doing that. And that type of silicone will stick to old silicone. The regular type won't, but the 100% type will, especially because it's glass. The one thing it don't stick to too well is plastic. That's about it. I don't plan to add any more fish to this tank because these guys are going to get really big. Most of the cats probably won't grow that fast, but the parrots are going to grow fast. I have a friend who has one that he just got, and the logger that he has is smaller than this, and within a month or so the fish wasn't able to get inside of it to hide anymore. So this guy has already grown a little bit. It's very shy right now. That from what I hear will change. The one thing I understand is they have great personalities. You come into the room, they'll splash around. They know who feeds them and everything like that. So I'm going to do some updates when I add more stuff to the tank. And like I said, I want to get another log like that to make it kind of match and angle both of them, and just a lot of plants mostly. I want to see if I can get some live ones, but I definitely want taller ones. The descriptions on these when I ordered them was that they were 8 inches, and this is not, I can tell you right now, this is not 8 inches. This tank is probably 15 in height. I haven't measured it, but that plant does not know 8 inches. That's maybe 4 or 5. So in the past, in my past videos, you'll see that I've had taller ones. I want stuff like that, bushy green, and I want to like fill up the whole back area. I think that'll look nice. And that's about it. See you on the next one.